maximize your potential, I guess.
Right. So hopefully that's clear as mud.
Yeah, I don't know what we answered there.
Yeah, we answered something. If maybe one of you had something that we were able to kind of graze over a little bit.
Yeah.
What exercises do I start a bodybuilding routine for a 2-day-a-week routine? I can't spare a lot of time. I travel for work and have a 2-day weekend. And I think they're trying to train over their weekend.
So they're training like Saturday, Sunday, rest of the week, weekdays off. So you got 2 days.
Yeah, I think it's more of like
basically up or lower. You're gonna have to do it like that. You're gonna do. It's a lot of work. I mean, but you got to do low volume on each body part. So what I mean by that is like you're gonna do your upper body on Saturday. For example, you are going to do shoulders and chest and back and arms, but it's going to be it's got to be in a certain way too. And so what I mean by that is I'd do mainly probably chest exercises, then I'd go into shoulder exercises, then I'd probably go into tricep exercises, then I'd probably go into back and finish with biceps or something along close to that.
And I see why
low volume though.
Low volume. So, and I'm going to ask you 2 questions off of that. So I see what you're doing, but for the people at home, why did you structure your for the people listening that may not see it, why did you structure it that way?
As far as the
order of operation,
of the body parts? Well, we have touched on this in earlier podcasts, but I think it was actually called sequence of exercise.
Yeah, it might have been like that. Order of operation.
Yeah. Quite simply, if you go in there and you start doing your shoulders first, for example, and then you go into your chest exercises, your shoulders are heavily involved in like a bench press, incline press. They're going to be tired, so they're going to fail before your chest does on a bench press. Do it the other way around. Chest first, then when you get into your shoulders, they're already somewhat fatigued, but it's fine because you're ready to. Your chest isn't going to hamper you on your shoulder press very much.
Yep.
So when I say that, I mean specifically for this individual, when you go into the gym on Saturday, if this is what they want to do, sequence probably would be. I mean, you could play with it a little bit, but I mean, you could just do it like that. You could do your chest stuff, your shoulder exercises, and then your triceps, because your triceps are involved in both of those.
Yep. So you might not even need a whole lot of work for your triceps.
Hardly any.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do probably a lot of your back exercises, and then your bicep. Now, what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to go in. Chest is first. I might do 2 exercises for chest, like say flat bench press and incline dumbbell or something. 2 or 3 good sets each, working sets. And when you get to shoulders, I'd probably just do 1, maybe 2 exercises, but I'm not doing a whole lot more than 2. So I'd probably just do like seated shoulder press, or maybe do some isolation stuff even.
Right.
Some side raises or something, some rear delts. So like side laterals and rear delts. And then I'd go into triceps, and they're going to be fairly tired by then, so I'd do like 2 sets again. Not 2 sets, but 2 exercises again. Even just a couple of sets on each one. You don't need a lot.
Yeah.
And then back, you could do a little bit more for back. You might pick 3 exercises or something.
Yeah, that's a big muscle group.
Yeah, and then biceps, just 1 or 2.
Right.
So again, you're going to be there for probably an hour and a half doing all that.
Right.
But you're not. The point is, you don't want to be doing like 5 or 6, exercises. All that.
And that's what you mean by low volume.
Yeah, you're only doing, maybe 3 to 6 sets total per body part. And then some of those are warm-ups.
Right, so. Yeah. And I was going to say, a lot of people are probably thinking, well, that doesn't sound right, or that doesn't sound like enough. But the key is that when you lower your volume, you have to increase your intensity, and that's by training extremely focused, extremely hard, but also...
Get a lot out of your set.
Yep, get a lot out of your set, and also incorporating tricks like supersets.
And it's also, you're 100% right, but it's also, do I want to be in the gym for 4 hours? That's not productive either.
No, it's not.
You still want to get your workout in hour.
Right.
Hour and a half is really pushing it. I like 45 minutes, but for that much, you probably... Now, on Sunday, though, if they go in and do their legs, they should be able to get everything in pretty close to 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
And that would just be quads, hamstrings, calves.
Right.
Really in any order. You could mix those around more or less.
Sure.
Whatever something's a little behind, or if you just prefer to do hamstring. We usually do hamstrings before quads. I recommend that to a lot of people. It's usually a foreign concept to most people. It seems counterproductive, but it does work really well.
I like it.
Usually calves at the end. If your calves are really weak, you might do them first occasionally. You have a little more energy, because sometimes after you do a lot of squatting or leg pressing, your motivation levels are kind of down.
Yes.
So that'd be my recommendation on 2 days.
So let me ask you this: do you have any go-to exercises where you're not going to be, where you can just do anything you want, but these are a must if you're only going to do 2 days a week? Or is it just whatever
not really,
you feel?
Because what I would do is I would say I would not do the exact same routine necessarily every time. And
Sure.
so you can mix your exercises up as you go. I would just, I guess, and generally speaking, I would do definitely towards the beginning on the shoulder. I would try to get some kind of a good compound movement in for shoulders and chest and back, at least one of those exercises.
Right.
You know, like a barbell row, a shoulder press, bench press, something like that.
Right.
I wouldn't go in there for chest and just do, dumbbell flies and machine flies and then go into shoulders and do laterals and that's it. I'd definitely get some kind of a compound
Some
movement,
sort, yeah.
But you can play with that a little bit.
Sure. All right. The next one is cottage cheese good to cut? Like if you're trying to get lean, is cottage cheese good to eat?
It's neither good nor bad, and really that any food you would ask me of that or ask, what I'm saying? You could, is an orange, is a candy bar, is this, is that, it's just chicken,
I like a candy bar.
Is it doesn't really matter what the food is. It has to be taken in the context of the rest of the diet.
Sure.
And so cottage cheese could be worked into any kind of a diet to lose body fat. You could get into fantastic shape eating cottage cheese. I mean, fantastic shape.
Right.
Now, you're going to be eating a ton of it all the time? Probably not. But if it's worked in and it's fitting in, and what I'm saying is if you're getting in shape, eating cottage cheese once a day, so be it. Why change?
Yeah.
I can design something for whoever this individual is. I guarantee you that we can get cottage cheese in your diet. Now, and that's really technically speaking, that's true. Now, maybe if you were to ask me kind of more generally, is cottage cheese? Well, I usually avoid a lot of dairy on my diet in general.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I couldn't use it if I wanted to. I just typically don't.
Right.
So,
well, there you go. All right. How do you stay active? Oh, next question. How do you stay active when you're sore for a week? I don't work out consistently because I'm sore a week or 10 days, or week to 10 days.
Okay, so I'm assuming this person is sore a week to 10 days on different areas of their body, just not one.
Yep, and I think the biggest complaint was all of the legs.
Well, if your legs are sore for, again, I don't know, I need more information. If your legs are sore for 7, 8, 9, 10 days, that means you're probably doing too much during your leg training.
Okay.
You're probably over. That's a lot. If they need that long to recover, you might want to look at that.
Sure. So maybe volume is a little high.
Something.
Something's a little high.
It could be just a little much. I mean, they can be. They probably should take maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 days to fully recover from a really good workout, but you shouldn't necessarily be sore to the point where you can't walk or do normal activities for that long. So usually what happens, what I'm saying is, say you do a really good leg workout and the next day you're fairly sore, and then the second day you're worse. Mm-hmm. Third day it starts to get alleviate some, and usually it's gone by day 3 or 4. Now it still usually takes a few more days after that, though. You're not necessarily aware of it, but usually you're not 100% ready for a week, 8, 9, 10 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're sore to the point where you can't walk for 7 or 8 days, that means you're really not even recovered for probably 14 or 15 days.
Wow. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if it's the day before your next leg day and you're still doing the 6-inch drop onto the toilet, you've done too much.
Yeah. You either done too much, or you definitely shouldn't be training legs again for about another week.
Yeah, because I know and it was that was kind of the joke, was the person had to use the stall with the handrail because they would, when they went into the restroom, they had to actually fall for like a foot to get onto.
Yeah, I know. You need that rope or something to lower you down. The other thing of it is, if you're that sore, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this particular person is not training that consistently, because anybody who knows who's trained for a long time, you don't get that sore all the time. Right. Even if you're training, I mean, you could be training like Tom Platz.
Yeah.
And if you're consistently in the gym like that, 2, 3, 4 times a week, you just can't get that sore anymore.
Right.
Now, if you take 6 weeks off or 6 months off and come back and try to train with that level, yeah, you're going to be hobbled for a week or so.
Sure.
But so I don't know what's going on with maybe the recovery, nutrition, maybe
inconsistency.
I would say it's inconsistently training. You know, I'm training hard for a while, then I kind of disappear for 3 weeks, and I come back.
Right.
And this is why I never do this, because I can't move for 2 weeks. I keep working out. Well, that goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually, as you train and as your body adapts to the stimulus you put it through, the soreness and the period in which you feel soreness. It gets a little shorter. I mean, there's some people that I've talked to that have been in it for a while that don't really even get that sore at all anymore.
I don't train that crazy anymore, and I don't really get that sore that much, you know.
And that's the idea is to create a machine that's well adapted, because it takes consistency to reach your goals, and if you are headed that way, then you reap the benefits, and that's one of the benefits.
You got it.
Well, so that's the end of the questions. We got a little time left. You want to knock out some of these?
Yeah, you can pick. Well, I guess you can explain exactly what we're looking at. What's the name of it? It's an old article from 1999 April from Muscle and Fitness. But what's the?
So the article, and this might actually just be kind of an end of the show segment we do for a few shows until we get through it, because we hit a few at the end of one show and we're hitting a few at the end of this show. So, big tips: 44 ways to build larger muscles. And I know we hit, I think, the first 3 or 4 last time we were here. So basically, what this is an article that has 44 tips in it, and it gives you a bold header, and then it gives you a little bit of an explanation of what that header means, and then we kind of break it down. So advanced techniques such as forced reps, negatives, and drop sets are extremely stressful and almost invariably lead to overtraining if done too frequently, especially among beginners. So use them only very prudently. What do you think? True, false?
Okay, so those advanced techniques, drop sets and forced reps and negatives and everything like that, I guess it could lead to overtraining. But the thing of it is, I would agree to use them occasionally or sparingly, because what basically happens is if you use them all the time, you just become adapted to that stress, and so it becomes more difficult to generate more stress on a muscle in the future.
Right.
So basically I'm saying you just get used to it. So that's the main reason to use them occasionally, so you can actually have something to fall back on to increase your intensity. So I would use them, not all the time.
Right. Well, and I think when you're doing stuff like that, I think when you're not quite familiar with knowing and understanding when your muscle is at failure, I think that I think it's easier to get injured that way too.
Yeah. So I don't know what they exactly said at the beginning, but it seems I would pretty much, I think, agree with that for the most part.
Yeah. And does every set need to be taken to failure? And does a technique like that need to be used for every set?
No, it's not. It's kind of the same concept
principle?
again. I mean, if you're always going 100% to failure, that just becomes the status quo. That just becomes the new norm.
Right.
So how do you go? So you just use that stuff. So I'd say make one set maybe per exercise. That's usually what we do, right? We usually do
about one set.
We warm up a couple sets, a couple moderate sets, and we're like, okay, now this set.
Let's top it off.
Let's get out. And sometimes we'll do 2 of those. But usually it's different rep ranges. Like maybe we might do a set of 6 to 8 on a bench press or whatever, and then we'll say, okay, the next set, let's drop this weight some 20-30%, see if we can get 12 to failure or whatever, and then we move on. We don't do a whole lot more.
Right. Choose free weight movements whenever possible. Some machines are good, but many are inferior to free weights because they lock you into a movement pattern that doesn't conform to the natural muscle contraction sequences. Free weights also recruit stabilizer muscles that help you maintain balance. Therefore, you can expect more complete development.
I used to agree with that, but the more I think it's almost false.
Yeah.
Because if the goal is just strictly muscle building, if that machine happens to lock you into a range of motion that is beneficial for your body, once you tax the muscle, I don't care if you do it with free weights or machine, it's just either it's stimulated to grow or it isn't. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a machine or a free weight. That's kind of it's just kind of a myth, I think. I mean, I don't now if you're maybe, and it may be more so when you're more advanced, you get better mind-muscle connection, and you already have a lot of development already. Maybe the machines maybe what we're talking about makes more sense. Maybe early on,
Right.
maybe more free weights.
Yeah.
But it was just like the argument. I'm going to take this one step further. You always hear people say, well, machines are safer, so use those when you're first beginning, though, because the free weights, you got the balance and all of this and more chance of injury.